Don't have time for church? Find out why making time for God's house is so important on this week's episode of Liberty at Home. Hello there, residents of Easton, as well as YouTube viewers around the world. You've stumbled upon yet another edition of Liberty at Home. I'm your host, Adam RIVEIRO, and I'm the pastor of Liberty Baptist Church here in town over on Washington Street. Today, as always, we're broadcasting from Easton, Massachusetts, the town where routes 138, 106, and 123 come together. Now, today we're going to have a very timely conversation about time and how it relates to church attendance. So let's read two short verses today to get us started finding our place in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 and 16, where it says this, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." Have you ever tried to judge how long it will be before a sporting event ends by looking at the clock? Well, let me tell you, it's pretty much impossible to do because the game clock and real time are not the same. For instance, have you ever witnessed the final minute of a basketball game actually take 1 minute? Probably not. In fact, if it's a close game, it's not unusual for the last minute to take over 10 minutes to complete. Don't you wish your life worked like this? It seems like I never have enough hours in the day to complete all the tasks I want to finish. I wish I could make 1 minute stretch into 10 or 1 hour into 10 hours. Now that's a superpower I'd love to have. But alas, each of us must navigate the same 24-hour, 7-day-a-week period that everyone else has to deal with. Maybe you've considered going to church, but only if you could somehow tack an extra day onto the week. Getting yourself and your family ready for church when there's chores to be done and errands to be run and extra hours of sleep to be enjoyed may feel impossible. But could I encourage you that no matter how busy your life is, it's vital to take time for the Lord and His house. We just read it in Ephesians 5, 15 and 16, where it tells us, "See then yet you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil." Because of the nature of the world we live in today, I'd argue that it's more important than ever that we make time for the house of God so we can learn more about His Word. Being part of a vibrant, loving church family where a pastor preaches and teaches the Bible is not just a nice extra to our schedule, it's a vital piece of our lives. Because of this, we shouldn't just attend church when time allows. We should see its importance and make time for ourselves and our family to attend. You know, another verse, Hebrews 10, verse 25, also encourages us to take part in church when it says, "Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching." I can't even begin to explain to you the blessings I've received from being part of Liberty Baptist Church. Now, I know it may sound corny, but the members of this church truly feel like my family. And that's the way God intended it to be. So we may not be able to extend time, but we can make the wisest choices with the time we have available. Use your time wisely this Sunday and be part of a community of faith that teaches the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ without apology. I know that Liberty Baptist Church warmly welcomes you. And finally, make time for church because, after all, there will be a time when time's up. I've met many people at the end of their life that wish they spent more time at church, learning about God's Word, and fellowshipping with lifelong friends. Yet, I've never met someone at the end of their life who lamented that they spent too much time at church. It's something worth thinking about when you have the time, of course. Now, speaking of time, we're out of it on this week's episode of Liberty at Home. But before I go, I want to remind you that you can learn more about Liberty Baptist Church by visiting mylibertybaptist.org. But the best way to find out about what our church is about is to visit this coming Sunday or Wednesday. We meet at 800 Washington Street, right across from Easton Pool and Spa. Well, this is Adam RIVEIRO signing off from Liberty at Home with our weekly reminder that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. Catch you next time here on ECAT for Liberty at Home.